Hey, what up everyone? I'm Sinnycool, and this is Gems of War. And today I have 4 teams for you for the World Event and the Faction Assault. 3 of them are actually no Mythic, no Legendary, no Dawnbringer teams. But let's get started with the first team. It's the team I used yesterday. I don't really see any way to do this better unless you paid for the Mythic that was in the campaign, Tiamata, but here I am going with Mace of Claws, Ishtara, Elamagrim, Essentia. Pretty simple Dragon Guard class. Showed this yesterday as well. The rest of them are all different. But this is the one I'm probably going to use. We have spell damage on our medal, right, for the world event. We also have skull damage. I went with spell damage, Ishtara, Elamagrim. It's pretty simple. Dragon Guard. Essentia is only there to start the dragons with 50% mana. Does nothing else. Literally nothing else. On the bottom of the team. That's why I used a banner that minuses blue, because it's the only troop on the team that uses blue. Who cares about Essentia other than its third trait, which is giving our 3 dragons 50% start. The Mace of Claws makes red and purple, which fills up our Ishtara and our Elamagrim. So starting with 50% mana, it starts with like 7, then there's an explosion. You only have to match like 1 green or brown. Boom, you cast that. You get a bunch of green, red and purple, which gets up your Elamagrim or your Ishtara. And then from there, just if you have both Elamagrim and Ishtara up, pick whatever color you have the most on the board. If you have more yellow on the board, cast Ishtara. If you have more purple on the board, cast Elamagrim. It's pretty simple, and they can loop once you cast an Elamagrim, and you got a bunch of purple on the board, so you cast Elamagrim. If your Elamagrim gets back up, cast it again, because there's probably still a bunch of purple on the board. You know, try to roll it into a loop. Don't just go back and forth and make it purple then yellow, purple then yellow. But yeah, pretty good. Here is the Faction Assault. It is Wyrmrun. Wyrmrun is the best treasure faction in the game. A lot of people like to say it's the best farming faction in the game. I more prefer City of Thieves or the Warrens because of the teams that you can use there, and they're almost as good and they're faster. So I prefer like City of Thieves with Rowan team or the Warrens with the gold farming team as a place to farm factions. But Wyrmrun is technically the best treasure faction for farming. But here we have Triple Ferocity Rage Reaver, shown this a million times. It's one of my favorite teams in the game. Mechanics of it are make yourself a shaman, have a banner with double red, brown, or double red, blue. Hopefully you have Rage Reaver. If you do not have Rage Reaver, I have another team for you that uses 2 different weapons. So hopefully you have one of these 3 weapons that I'm about to show you. If you don't, you need to get on that. But we have Triple Ferocity Rage Reaver. Made ourselves a shaman, and now we're a Taurus. So our ferocities have a third trait where it gives 4 to all skills every time you match 4 or more gems to all Taurus allies, right? So everybody on our team's a Taurus. The Rage Reaver, you shoot it off, it makes a ton of red, it makes a bunch of extra turns. That sets off the third trait of the 3 ferocities, which is 12 to every skill. So yeah, you don't want to take this like all the way to 500. This would be something you would just use for this event. It's a Tuesday event. I'm not concentrating on level 500 Deathless or Pure Faction on a Tuesday. So mostly my advice and my teams today are just to get you through the event to get all the rewards. So I recommend Ferocity as one of those. It's pretty quick, it's easy, it uses common troops, and it can get you through pretty quick and easy. So yeah, later on cast that Rage Reaver more. That way you can get more stats to hit harder and to have more durability. Early on, you just want to match red and cast the Ferocities and get them wiped out of there. Same with Finesse here. Finesse is actually the best Guardian and probably the best Guardian team. Reason it's the best Guardian team is because it has a on its spell, I think, it has a little every time you cast, it gives 6 mana to the rest of the team. So every time you cast one finesse, it gets the next finesse up. Then you cast that finesse, and it gets the next finesse up. Then you cast that finesse, and it just goes back. It goes from top to bottom and then back around. Like, you always have a finesse up. That's why finesse is the best Guardian troop, because of that in its spell. I like Ferocity more. I don't know why, but finesse is technically better because of the 6 mana that it gives to the next finesse every time it casts or whatever, and how that can snowball into just always having a finesse up. But it's the same concept, except for you use Stormcaller instead of Shaman, and you're using Nimbus Bow instead of Rage Reaver. And same thing, the third trait gives 12 skill points to all of your Strix, which since you're Stormcaller, you're also a Strix, so all 4 troops on your team are getting 12 to all skills. Every time you do 4 or 5 gym matches, Nimbus Bow is making a bunch of yellow and blue every time you cast it, based on Strix, right? We're all Strix, so it makes a bunch of that. Yellow, we need yellow, it makes that. Blue gives you extra turns. So Nimbus Bow's making a bunch of extra turns to give us a bunch of extra stats. You could also use the Storm Staff, or the Staff of Storms, or whatever it's called. It's the explodey weapon that does Strix, gives Strix positive effects, and like summons a Strix or whatever. That one's pretty good as well. It just doesn't make as many extra turns and doesn't build your stats as good, but at least it's another option that you could use. I think Nimbus Bow is better, but I think Staff of Storms is a good replacement if you don't have it. So that's your 2 faction teams that I would, recommend you use if you're just trying to get all rewards. You only have to go to like level 90. You only have to buy like 1 potion, maybe level 100 at the most. And it's pretty easy. It's Tuesday. If you're going to level 500 Deathless today, good luck with that. Use Iron Gut or something like that instead. Here we have my no team for the World event. Remember, in the World event, you want to just target Tiamata and then, all the mythics after that, and avoid the non-mythic. I think it's Dark Troll or something. Obsidious is like the best mythic, so pretty much Tiamata and then Obsidious and then avoid Dark Troll, and you're pretty good after that. You don't really have to micromanage it or anything, but... So, for the no mythic, no legendary, no Dawnbringer team, what I went with was Mace of Claws, I think it's Volthronax, Egg Thief, and Sulfrostanath or Dragon Spirit. I kept going back and forth between the two. You could go with either or. Also, either or the Mace of Claws or Dragon Tails. I couldn't decide with my no. I kept going back and forth with a couple of the troops. But the main components there were Volthronax is probably one of the best damage dealers that's not legendary or mythic. It targets, you get to explode, and like if you catch a bunch of yellow in the explosion, you do extra damage, so make sure you're exploding as much yellow as you can when you cast that troop. Then the Dragon Spirit, if you want to use that, it will give you an enchant to all allies 75% of the time, but you start with enchant if you're doing that potion, so he's really not as strong as I thought. So I was using Sulfrostanath too. Egg Thief was just one of the best mana generators, and it has a summon. Dragon Guard with Mace of Claws or Dragon Tails. You will get through it. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. Please like, share, subscribe. Consider joining. It helps a lot. Tell your good about the channel, comment below, and I will see y'all tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST.